say we will talk about one thing and invariably talk about something completely unrelated. And fantasy literature. I'm Ronan V, and with me as always is Leif. Leif, how are you?
I'm fine. Everything good?
I'm good. I'm just really happy that I nailed the intro first time.
Definitely. Take 27?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Sorry.
This week, we're talking about Crosswords.
Sure.
And the works of David Gemmell. Crosswords. Do you do them, Leif?
No. I'm horrible at them. They are fun, though. Like, I do like anything that makes my mind feel like it's exercising in a relaxing way, if that makes sense. But I managed to always squeeze in the wrong word in the right amount of letters, and I won't find out until I'm almost done with the thing. It's really infuriating.
How's that possible, though? Do you not get words that bisect it?
Hey. If you manage to maybe miss an L over here or something, like,
right.
But it still spells kind of the same.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, I can't read or write. So, yeah.
Crosswords are hard, though. Like, to be fair. The good thing about crosswords is we're both getting on in years. Apparently, it can extend your mental capacity for 3.5 years.
That sounds like a really finite. Like,
it staves off dementia for 3.5 years. Apparently.
Exactly 3.5 years?
Averaged? I don't know. But there's been studies, and like broccoli, it's very good for your mental health.
Okay, so if I eat broccoli, I get what, 1 year?
I have no idea, mate.
2 years?
I have no idea.
Is broccoli better than crosswords?
I have no idea.
Why are you saying these things?
Because broccoli is well known for staving off dementia.
Okay, so if I do a run,
eat
broccoli, do crosswords, when's the immortal point?
You will keep your mental faculties for the rest of your life.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't
I'm
believe
already
that either.
barely here.
So crosswords.
Yes.
You're aware of a crossword?
Yes.
Right. I'm going to get into random facts about crosswords.
Okay.
First up, do you know what the different types of crosswords are?
I do know a couple different types.
Okay.
So there's the kid ones. There's the ones that has like hints on the top, right? No? So there's like, in Swedish ones, they always have the tiny letters and images.
Okay, let's start with Swedish ones, because we're both Swedish. Do you know what a Swedish crossword is called?
A crossword?
No, it is not.
What's it called?
It's called a korsord. Arrow word.
Yeah, but nah, so korsord is basically a crossword, but directly translated.
It's arrow word. Korsord.
Yeah, but that's a crossword.
I looked this up.
Yeah, well, your Google Translate doesn't work.
So it doesn't mean arrow word.
No, it's
cross. It literally means crossword.
Yeah.
Did you know that they were first called word crosses? And then there was a typo, and they were typed as crosswords.
Okay.
And that's where the name came from.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming everybody's thinking we're like 70.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe 85. When did you start doing crosswords?
At a young age. I come from a household of crossword doers. Or if you want the technical term, cruce verbalists, if you will.
Oh my god.
That's the word for people.
Were you raised in an like elderly home?
No, my mum is amazing at crosswords. She's one of those people that will see a cryptic crossword and it'll take her 20 minutes. Doesn't matter what it is, but she just, because there's tricks.
Yeah, definitely. But there's tricks to everything, right? Like Rubik's Cube go in 18 seconds for a guy, and it takes me...
tricks to everything. What do you mean? Is there?
There's always a way to cheat.
Isn't that how they get you in Facebook ads? By saying there's tricks to everything. Like, I'm a little bit overweight, so for whatever reason on Facebook I've been getting targeted ads about weight loss. And apparently I can lose 30 kilos in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. Just by these little tricks and by paying money. But
also, what did you Google for that to happen?
I have no idea, man. Literally the other day, what was it? Or was that today? I can't remember. I was on my phone and I Googled something stupid like, God, I can't remember. I think it was flights because, I was worried if we can still go places.
No.
So it was like flights to a specific country on my phone.
Okay.
And I had my laptop open as well.
Yeah.
So I turned to my laptop and I went on Facebook on it.
Yeah.
And there was a targeted ad for that. And that was like instant. That's...
Coincidence or targeted ad?
Well, it's obviously a targeted ad.
Clearly, the surveillance state has.
But
advanced.
it was so quick.
Yeah.
My
Welcome
laptop
to the
didn't even
future.
refresh, right?
Ads are faster than your thoughts.
Anyway, so different types of crossword.
Okay.
Typically, this is how they come. So first up is a blocked grid crossword. That's your bog standard crossword. It's what you typically get in the US.
Okay.
We'll get into it later, but typically that's what you get. It's crosswords that a little bit of quiz, so quiz word plus a little bit of cryptic, mostly synonyms and things.
Okay.
Not too difficult, but a little bit tricky.
Also,
what?
I'm assuming we're gonna add pictures of all the different kinds in a link under. Definitely, I'll fix that.
Good, well, if you're fixing it, that absolutely will.
Because otherwise, for me at least, when you say explain it like that, I don't connect at all.
If you picture a crossword.
Yeah, I see boxes.
Yeah, so blocked grids is basically little boxes with a little black square where there is a letter.
Yeah, and that's always in a crossword.
No, it isn't.
Okay, it feels like it is.
It isn't. Not the black squares anyway.
Okay.
Because that would... barred grids is another type of crossword.
Okay.
Which are typically more compact, a little smaller, but they actually fit more words in. Because instead of black blocks, they have just shaded lines.
Okay.
So say you have a grid of 10 by 10.
Yeah.
Well, typically they're 15 by 15.
Yeah.
But if you had 10 by 10... you would have on a blocked grid, you would have say 5, 4, and a 5-letter word, a 4-letter word, and one square would be black to show that those two words were separate.
Okay, yeah.
If you get me.
Yeah.
So like one would be 1 across, the next one would be 2 across.
Okay.
Whereas in a barred grid, it would be 5 and 5.
Okay.
And it'd just be a shaded line.
More efficient, I guess.
More efficient, but you don't tend to get these a lot. I think it's just because it just doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Then you have the cryptic crossword, which is what I'm most familiar with.
What's that?
The clues are harder.
Okay.
So it's like clues within clues, if you will.
But that's just guesswork then.
It's not, because there are tricks to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It becomes a second language. So I've done a couple in my life, not many, but yeah. And you clearly quite fast realize that.
We're drinking.
Yeah. You quite fast realize that the same words or synonyms are used a lot, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes a language in itself, right? Like
it is.
If they say this, they always mean this, not that, right?
Absolutely. It's... so there's a term for that. It's called crossword ease. So it's words which are found in puzzles or crosswords, but you typically would not use in everyday's life.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. So I do the Times crossword.
Okay.
It's the only reason why I buy
New
the
York
Times.
Times?
No. UK Times.
Is there a Times in the UK?
Yeah, I think at one stage it was the biggest selling newspaper in the world.
Never heard of it.
You joking?
It's only the New York Times.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The Times is one of the most famous newspapers.
I don't know.
Anyway,
that's the thing. So you guys need to spread your culture more.
Right.
You've not been doing that correctly.
Not you guys. I'm Irish.
Okay.
That's a UK paper. But anyway,
sure.
The UK Times is famous for its crosswords, and it's it's typically the one I do.
Okay.
Big fan of it. It's just challenging enough. I don't think I've ever completed one in my life.
Oh.
Because you have to know everything in it. Like there's a lot of factual knowledge, and some things I just don't know.
Yeah.
And as a rule, I don't look things up. Okay. I'll go back to a crossword, but I won't look things up.
Okay.
If I don't complete it, I don't complete it.
Okay. So what you do when you have it's on the tip of your tongue? But so, for instance, you can describe it enough that you can Google it, but you can't find the word. Then you kind of know what it is, but you just need the word.
You do, but what you go away.
Okay.
You let your subconscious work that out. Like, I'll leave a crossword. I used to. Now I buy the books, the compendiums of like 100 crosswords times crosswords. I buy those because it's easier. But what I used to do was, like in my house or whatever, I would just have a stack of the newspapers. And every now and again, I'd go back and I'd pick one out.
Is it a daily paper?
It's a daily paper, but I typically do the Sunday.
Okay.
It's a weird thing, actually. So the daily crossword, generally, in newspapers, New York Times, famous for this, they'll have different difficulties on different days.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but that sounds rings a bell. Yeah.
So you would know that if you want a really tricky one, you get it on a Thursday.
Yeah.
If you want the easier one, Monday, because Monday's a bit of a drag anyway. And that's there's so many little layers to it. I like crosswords. Anyway, back to barred grids, cryptic. Cryptics are the ones you don't get them so much in the US and the rest of the world. It's kind of a UK English thing.
Okay.
And maybe it's a bit snootier, but they're typically harder.
Okay.
So you have to actually know how these crosswords are done specifically. Because there's anagrams within words, and there's words that will indicate.
So it's the hipstery crossword.
I don't know, hipster, because
there's a more established
it's always
culture.
been a thing. Yeah, it's people who do real serious crosswords, cryptic. That's their wheelhouse.
Are there crosswords competitions?
Oh God, yeah.
Who's the best crossword puzzler in the world?
Well, actually, let me just go to my notes here.
Does he have Olympic medals?
So, God, have I not written his name down? Mark Bremen right now is considered the best.
Why?
Because he compiled the hardest crossword of all time.
He made it.
Yeah.
And nobody solved it or something.
Well, the thing is, people who generally are really good at solving them are very good at making them.
Of course. But
yeah,
isn't that like he makes the most asinine questions and guesses, and then nobody else understands it? Why?
Well, here's the thing. So in 2018, he released what he said was the hard... Like, this is a man who's done... I think it was something stupid. Like, he does 32,000 clues. Not crossword, clues a year.
Okay.
And, like, he does it for, like, 4 different publications. Like, massive respect in this world, cryptic crosswords.
Is he rich because of this?
No. I think... I think it was. What was it for the New York Times crossword, which I think is the most famous in the world, just because bloody the US. For that one, I think
there you go, New York Times.
You know, I'm not saying New York Times isn't the thing. I wasn't disputing that. I was
most famous, most good. Yes.
Crossword wise, but it's the one that's been most popular culture. But so I think it was in 2015, 2016. I could be entirely wrong about all the dates, but. They used to only get paid $40 for each crossword, but now it's $150.
Ooh.
So,
well, if it's
there's no money.
No, if you do one every day, it's a nice side income. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they all do other things. Anyway, so Mark Bremen in 2018 he released this crossword, which he said, of all my years, this is the hardest.
Okay.
If you get one wrong, like you said you do, you know, sometimes you put in the wrong word because it fits and it seems right.
Yeah, it's in the same ballpark, but it's not right. Yeah.
He said, if you do that with this crossword, it's going to take you 2 years to do this crossword because it will mess everything else up.
And you won't find the thing that was wrong. Yeah.
So he said all these things, it's the hardest ever, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And he said the first 10 people get a copy of his new book. That's why it was this, blah, blah, blah. 2.5 hours before somebody contacted him and went, yeah, I've done it.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
So how hard is it? Crosswords are easy then.
No. Yeah, right. So, okay.
This is the same as...
From that,
yeah, okay.
54 across. Let's see if you can get this.
Okay.
Renaissance figure reaches endgame with US subject.
What?
Renaissance figure reaches endgame with US subject. And that was 54 across. And it is 7 letters. 8 letters. 8 letters.
Renaissance, I don't know.
Yeah, it's polymath. I even though I know the answer,
Yeah.
I couldn't work it out.
No, I'm like, what? Why did he mean polymath? Like,
Yeah.
like Renaissance. Yeah, okay, sure.
Well, it's poly something,
Yeah.
and then math, because
Yeah.
they say math instead of maths.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think, but with US subject. So US subject is
they
math,
do have it as a course. Yeah.
whereas in England they would say maths.
Yeah.
So math makes sense.
This is what crosswords are annoying.
Wait, Renaissance figure reaches endgame. What's poly? Poly.
I don't know.
We can work this out. So Renaissance figure reaches endgame. Endgame, like the end. Come on, we poly something.
I have no idea. Now we sound dumb. You know that?
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, we picked the wrong subject.
Yeah.
Like math, I get with US subject,
and the subject is polymath because that's an actual course that they study in the US universities. But
no, they don't.
yeah, they do.
No, polymath's a type of person.
I don't know. I've seen it on. So my reference to polymath is basically in college TV shows or something. They talk about polymath. I don't know.
No,
I have no idea.
Yeah, a polymath is a person of wide knowledge or learning. Yeah, it's not a subject.
Okay, now I'm even dumber.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I watch college shows. I know things.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
So that was that. It was the hardest, but 2.5 hours. But even then, it was only like 10 people got it quick. And then everybody else filtered in over months.
No idea.
So it was, but it's one of those.
So for me, the reference, or not reference, but the same thing goes for every game developer ever who goes, oh, we made this dungeon, raid, whatever, so hard that nobody's going to be able to beat it. And it takes like 3 hours and it's done.
And then somebody's done it on a Guitar Hero bloody thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the developer spent like a year making it, and then it's like another year until the next one comes out, so they're in panic because nobody has anything new to play now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It that was upsetting for him, but he was okay. Anyway, back to crosswords. So you can also get a thematic crossword. So that's a crossword just basically on a theme, like a nautical crossword.
Yeah.
And then a code word, which I had totally forgotten about code words, but I used to do these a lot when I was younger. A code word is, there's no clues.
Okay.
It's just every letter is replaced with a number.
Yeah. My daughter, who's 6, does those.
Yeah, right? You can get hard ones, man. All right.
Can you though?
Dick about it. All right. Are you ready for some trivia on crosswords?
I'm afraid that the one listener we have is going to run away already. But sure, hit me.
Okay. I'm going to go through just some, and then I'm going to tell you my favorite fact.
Okay.
Which it probably shouldn't. Okay. Scrabble.
Yeah.
The inventor of Scrabble based it on crosswords.
Yeah, makes sense.
Wait, it does make sense. Yeah, it's not that interesting. Originally called Warcross. Word squares were found in the ruins of Pompeii.
Sure, makes sense too.
Yeah. In Japan, corner squares of a crossword have to be white. And they're known as nonograms.
I kind of like that. So, and they had another rule too in Japan that was different.
It's something to do with the symmetrical. Has to be slightly
and it
off.
sounds so Japanese to do those things. Like, we have to have this. It must look pretty too.
Let's be weird for the sake of being weird.
Exactly.
There's also a thing called a Schrodinger's crossword.
Oh, that sounds annoying.
Yeah, right. It's also called a quantum crossword. It's where a crossword can have two solutions.
Okay, end solutions or for everything?
Just like you can do it two ways.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's the same thing, but I used to do a crossword, which was one was a crossword, and then the other was a quiz word. You obviously couldn't intermingle them.
Okay.
But you could do the whole thing two different ways.
Okay.
It's like two puzzles in one. A little bit of right. So that's just some trivia. My favorite trivia thing is, do you know what the word crossword is in Klingon?
Oh my god. Why? Klingon. Yeah, okay, shoot.
It's crossword.
Of course, because it's so weird that... do you ever think a Klingon would do a crossword? That's ridiculous.
Well, it's ridiculous, but it implies that they don't have crosswords.
Okay, so
Isn't that what that implies?
well, new invention.
In Klingon, you have words for bloody everything. But for crossword, it's
Yeah.
just crossword. Which implies that in the entirety of their culture, they have never developed a crossword.
They do not exist. I'm just pointing that out. It's just a fiction thing.
Right.
And
Well, consider we're about to talk about fantasy books.
hey.
Yeah, let's maybe not knock the fiction element of,
Alright, so I'm pretty sure Klingon doesn't have a word for internet either, but sure.
I bet you it does. Of course it does.
Why though?
I
It's a human. Oh God. Do they have a word for YouTube?
Not YouTube, but like you and tube, probably.
Yeah, sure, but. Oh God, why?
Gone down this rabbit hole, buddy.
My mind hurts now.
Son of a bitch. It's internet.
There you go.
See, what's annoying about that, man, is I thought the crossword thing was cool because,
Was it though?
obviously not. You ruined it for me. They have no word for it tonight.
There you go.
Well, let's go into the history of crosswords.
Okay, shoot.
Right.
So I do like things from Pompeii. That was probably the one that I liked. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of things, Roman.
So-
Alright. No. So okay.
Yeah.
Roman civilization, old civilizations, anything, or like even Decameron. It's like awesome to read a story about people talking the way that we do
Yeah.
1,000 years ago.
What do you mean, talking the way we do?
So if
Like
you,
in English?
No. Like the
That'd be
way
weird.
they tell a story. I did this.
Yeah.
I went there. I did that. And it has a moral and an ending, and
Yeah.
everything seems the same, even though that is 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
And I find that amazing. And it's so easy to forget when you have a weird human sense about time. Right? So yeah, that was my little thing.
Good.
There you go.
Thanks, man. Tell you what they didn't have, though, TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a TV back in the day.
They have slaves to enact things better.
That's true. Unless you're a slave.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you want to be a slave? Is this your like? Are you submissive? Is this what you're trying to say?
It's crazy though that even back in the days of slaves, there were hierarchies to being a slave.
Definitely.
So like you could be a slave,
Yeah.
but you could be very badly off. You'd be alright.
Yeah. Like if you're in a learned slave or something, like you're the guy who reads or teach the kids in the household or whatever. Yeah, you're probably better off than the.
And a lot of people were happy with slavery.
Yeah.
Even some slaves.
Yes. Well, it is controversial, but this is the key thing to that. Humans are adaptable to a ridiculous degree. So as long as you get food on the table and you get used to things pretty fast, yeah, it might not be your dream life, of course not, but you go along with it.
Yeah.
And if you do that long enough, all of a sudden you don't hate your life, right? So there's an article about Indians with arranged marriages being happier than Westerners.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it's the same kind of idea where they take the pressure off and they just hang with the person and eventually they grow to like the person.
Yeah.
And it's...
Is that because we're controlled by hormones? Mostly.
I don't know. Or that we picked the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I like this awesome chick that's mean and steal all my money.
She has a nice rack. She must have a great personality.
Awesome. Exactly.
He has a nice
It makes
package. He must have a nice personality.
Yeah, exactly.
We're obviously compatible.
Done.
Boom.
Let's have 10 kids and then divorce.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I gotta stop clapping. Crosswords.
Yep.
Do you know when the first one was published?
Well, apparently under a volcano.
As we know crosswords, the first known published crossword was by journalist Arthur Wynne from Liverpool in December 21 in 1913.
No.
In the New York World.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
That was the first one that was officially published.
What happened in between, in the gap between volcano crossword and that crossword?
There were a lot of word games. Like in UK has a strong tradition of like word games that involve blocks and clues and things. But first printed crossword that you can definitively go, that's a crossword.
Okay.
Was in 1913 by Arthur Wynne.
Okay.
Okay. Would you like to try a couple of those original crossword clues?
Sure.
Okay.
Hit me.
What this puzzle is. 4 letters.
Quiz?
No.
Words? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm horrible at these things.
Okay. What this puzzle is. Hard.
Oh, I hate crosswords. This is the reason I hate crosswords.
This is a shit crossword. I went through it and I went, wow, crosswords, like a lot of things, have come a long way.
Yeah, hopefully
because this crossword is terrible.
Like, when it's done like that, I get annoyed by the answer.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, no, I would just throw away the paper.
Yep. Number 2, the close of day.
Suit?
The close.
Not dusk.
Evening.
Oh, okay.
You would get that if you saw it. And this one, very much of the time, what we should all be.
Better.
Moral.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Moral is the same thing as better these days, right?
Yeah.
Like in those days, they would have said moral.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I justify the right answer. Done.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't have fit. Would have been
Doesn't
wrong.
matter. I would have still written it.
Do you know what was interesting about this first crossword? It wasn't a square.
Okay.
It was a diamond.
Yeah, sure. Well, that is a square turn on its head or something.
And then squished a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Why not? I'm not bothered by that. Like, why does it have to be a square? Like, it
Does it make sense? Because...
Yeah, but if you want to have a 10-letter word on the side, make it. Do it.
What?
Yeah. Why not?
Like,
wow.
you do get anthropomorphic bloody crosswords. But... That's not right, is it? No. Animal-shaped. Just animal-shaped crosswords.
Yeah.
You get all that type of thing. But traditionally, it's a square.
Yeah.
And that's because there's lots of little tiny squares for the letters. So it makes sense that it's a square.
Doesn't have to be.
No, it obviously doesn't have to be. But I'm just saying, traditionally, that's what it is.
Why you're so... Think outside the box, man.
Anyway, it took 10 years from the first published one. And that was in the US. To get back to England. And that's when it exploded. In the 1930s, the first Times crossword was on the 1st of February 1930.
Okay.
Do you know what the controversy was with crosswords back in the day when they first came out?
That they're annoying?
No. Similarly with a lot of things back in the day, that people were wasting their time, moral decay.
Oh, you mean like today?
Hysteria. Yeah.
So the same argument that's been prevalent since dawn.
Yeah,
of man.
pretty much. That was it. Do you know why they were banned in Paris?
No.
Because during the Second World War, they thought they were being used as code.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
Definitely were, though.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I got in crosswords.
Alright. So...
I love crosswords. I do crosswords every day.
I'm more... Every day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'll do something. Yeah.
Why are you wasting your time? You have so much potential.
Buddy, I'm adding 3.5 years to my mental health.
Yeah. Well,
also, I eat a lot of broccoli.
And
I'm like
do
a
you
superhuman.
run,
What's running got to do with my brain?
the same thing. Helps.
Oh, do you know what was interesting? Sorry, man, I cut you off, but this was interesting. They did a study on people crosswords, obviously, and some lad called Lewis.
Okay.
Sorry, listeners, this is what you'll find a lot of this. Me and my vague references that you'll have to look up yourself. See what's wrong. So, this guy Lewis, he did a study on crosswords and how it affected the brain.
Okay.
And with crosswords, especially cryptic,
Okay.
he found that people who really got into a cryptic crossword had a lot of trouble seeing a human face as a whole.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like I look at your face and it's a face.
Yeah.
But they would just see like the eyes and the nose and the mouth as separate almost. So it's like disassociation. Also, they would have extreme, and I think maybe this is a sign of the times, they would have extreme trouble with wine tasting. So they would test them before, and their wine tasting, you know, they could, whatever, this is fruity, this is dry, this is smoky, whatever. But afterwards, they would have a lot of trouble with that.
So what you're saying is crosswords make people insane?
Probably a little bit, but
or
specifically crosswords, because of the way you've got to think.
Okay.
It affects the brain.
So it's not good for you.
It is good for you. That's 3.5 years.
You get high/insane. That's not good for you. Also, why would you want 3.5 more years of being miserable old?
3.5 years to do crosswords, buddy.
Ugh, God.
So that's crosswords. Fascinating stuff.
So okay. Wait.
Yeah.
Should I get into crosswords then?
Yeah, absolutely. They're fun.
Why?
What do you mean why? Why is anything fun? I don't know.
Yeah.
So enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, alright, you have finite time.
Yeah.
You're wasting it on this.
Well, you're not, because it's adding...
Yeah, but you have to compete with everything else.
Also, it adds to your...
Walking your dog, with tending your garden.
It adds to your lexicon. It improves your grasp of a language.
Does it though? When
Absolutely
it's annoyingly...
it does. And spelling.
Yeah, okay.
I am a bad speller.
Yeah.
Like, crosswords, Jesus, you got to spell correctly.
Yeah. That's why I'm horrible at crosswords.
Yeah, and it also helps with your writing. I'm traditionally a terrible writer.
Okay.
Like my handwriting's appalling, but with a crossword, it's better.
I found it. So you write horribly, and you spell horribly. So you can you basically can see what you wrote and you go, yeah, done. I finished this crossword. It's like random letters scribbled in.
Nobody can say different.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that definitely says apple.
Yeah, done.
Absolutely.
That looks like a G though. Looks like.
Anyway, that's crosswords.
Shoot.
Big fan. Do a crossword. It help your mental health.
Where should I start though?
What do you mean?
If I want to get into it.
I'll give you a book. The Times does a really good compendium of their jumbo crosswords, and if you've never done a crossword, you'll maybe get, how many's typically in one? 20. There's maybe like 50 clues.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe you get 10.
Nah, I won't.
But that's as a start.
Yeah.
But then you get to learn the rules and things, and then you get more.
I need to get way older before I start doing this.
Yeah. The only thing I will say about the Times crosswords is I don't know any Thomas Hardy books.
Okay.
They're always fucking referencing Thomas bloody Hardy books. And I think I'll just go learn some Thomas Hardy books. But I never learned Thomas Hardy books.
Right.
But there are always clues about bloody Thomas Hardy books.
What did you write?
I don't know, because I've never looked it up.
It sounds familiar, so I should have. I've probably read some of them.
I'm pretty sure he did Tom Jones.
Okay, maybe.
But I don't look it up. Don't tell me, because you know, I think there's a gap in my knowledge which I'm just happy to play with.
Okay. Imagine all the things you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, okay. I've not read any of those.
Did he do Tom Jones? I'm pretty sure that was Hardy.
Like Tess of the Dude.
Oh, is he Tess of the?
Yeah.
You are kidding me.
Far from the Maddening Crowd.
Far from the Maddening Crowd. Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
Casterbridge. The Woodlanders. Under the Greenwood Tree. Pair of Blue Eyes. Hand of Alberta. Two in a Tower. I've never heard of any of these.
Right, I've heard of pretty much all those books.
Mm-hmm.
I do know Thomas Hardy. I think I just thought he was somebody else.
Poems. That's why. Fuck poems.
Alright, okay. Why?
Same thing as crosswords. I get annoyed if you try to say something or have a nice, like this is payoff when you get it right?
Yeah.
But if the word that they're looking for is annoying, then the payoff is annoying too. It takes away from that, like, I solved it, right? So it's more of a, this word sucks. Why? What did you like? You know,
Poetry is a bit different there, buddy.
yeah, but the same thing with poetry. So poetry can be beautiful,
Yeah.
but the language they use, I'm rudimental. I'm not
Right.
into poetry, so I barely know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But for me, poetry use too flowery language to explain a thing that I rather read in a science book. But that's the way I think. I'd rather have it. Okay, you mean this? You say this. This is the reason why you said it. Done. Not like, oh, the moon is waning and the blah blah is waxing. I don't know.
Fantasy books and sci-fi books are full of metaphors and similes and...
Based on what?
Well,
Generally, like fables, myth, legends.
Right. But that's a lot of poetry is based on that.
Yeah, that's fine. But in fantasy books, you have those things as tropes, or
It's not integral.
no, and it's a moral or ethical lesson baked in somewhere. Maybe that makes sense. Poetry, you're trying to. It's like opera. You're trying to say something beautiful, but it takes 2 hours to do it in 4 sentences.
It's difficult, mate. I'm not a big fan of opera or poetry, but they can be moving, and you don't necessarily need a fundamental knowledge of the poem or to know for it to move you.
Yeah. So the closest I can
Because
get
they
is
use different tools.
The closest I can get is a writer who writes beautifully, but does it in something that is closer to a
But
book.
you like music,
Yeah.
right? And you've heard songs, I presume, of times, because I know I have, where you've gone, I don't quite understand that lyric.
Yeah, but that's references.
No, but not even, because
Okay.
music can be a form of poetry, and sometimes they're saying things where you're like, I don't understand what
That's
you're
fine.
saying. But it's
Music has many parts, and you can enjoy other parts.
well, that's the same with poetry, though.
No. Yeah, well, yes, for other people,
Yeah.
but not for me. For
Okay,
me, it's
okay.
like I read the thing, I see that it's nicely
Yeah.
done, and
Do you read it
flows.
out loud, though?
In my mind, yeah. Do you read in your head? Do you hear your voice when you read?
Yeah, but that's different to reading out loud.
Yeah, no, I don't read it out loud. I read it
Well,
in my
then,
head.
With poetry, I feel like you do need to read
No,
it out
I'm not a
loud.
pretentious prick.
It's pretentious, man. I think poetry of all written works is
I'm assuming-
intended to be heard.
Yeah, maybe. I'm assuming you have a glass of red wine, a Cuban cigar, and a poetry thing going, and you read and you go swirling about your apartment and going blah 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 blah. This is I can see that. Yeah, sure.
Right. One of those things is correct. Yeah. Anyway, David Gemmell.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Do you
good.
like him? I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan of
yeah.
David Gemmell.
Is it the best?
Moving swiftly on. Big fan of David Gemmell. You're a fan of David Gemmell.
Definitely.
I think anybody who reads fantasy is a fan of David Gemmell.
I think a lot of people who reads fantasy hasn't read David Gemmell.
I don't think that's true, man. I think maybe people who've just gone into it are newborns. Don't know David Gemmell. Like that, you'd be
Okay.
hard pressed. Like his catalog is pretty extensive.
Yeah, but you need to actually pick one book up and then start reading. So my Daniel Green, the booktuber, that's pretty famous at the moment. I'm pretty sure he hasn't read them at all.
Daniel Green.
Yeah, the guy who does the YouTube videos,
yeah.
book reviews and stuff.
Is that what we're doing now? Promoting?
No, I
Other-
just like his stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying he's, I don't know, 20 something.
But he's a kid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, do you think the majority of fantasy readers at this time is
Yeah.
our age or his age?
Well, our age and older because there's more of us.
No, I think the explosion of fantasy into mainstream made it so that
Yeah.
a lot of people are way younger than us. And since they're younger than us,
Yeah.
they have gaps in the things that we assume for granted. So for him, the example is he just got into Dresden Files and never read them before and got hooked and plow through them. And I'm assuming he hasn't read Gemmell.
Yeah, I guess you got to find
Maybe
that
he
time.
has, but
Let me ask this though: Is Gemmell a pillar of fantasy?
yes, but I don't think, as I said before, that a lot of people read it. A lot of people has read it over the ages,
Yeah.
but if you name the top 10 fantasy books, Gemmell is not in there. in the most famous ones. Like for me, for you, maybe, definitely for you. I know that, but if you get recommended on Reddit to read fantasy books, Gemmell is not the first 10 books that you would get recommended.
No, I understand that, man. I think Gemmell, for a lot of people, maybe our age more than most, a lot of people go, oh, I read that Gemmell book and that got me into fantasy.
How old are you, though?
Pretty old, man.
I'm thinking like 60.
What are you doing, man? Like, you're older than me. Like, I don't understand what this is.
Hey, you're older Crosswords. You're clearly 60.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, you're older than me. I think with Gemmell, and I found this on Reddit. I'm not a big Reddit fan, but I got into Reddit when I was looking up David Gemmell. A lot of comments on David Gemmell are, I wasn't really into fantasy. And then I read this David Gemmell book and it got me into fantasy.
That's good.
But then I don't know if that's just a Reddit thread whereby you wouldn't be on that anyway.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I would find it hard to believe that anybody, especially somebody who does a fantasy YouTube channel, could possibly have any sort of authority without having read...
Doesn't have to have authority. He has to do his own thing.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Would have any sort of authority to speak on the subject if you hadn't read a David Gemmell.
Okay, so how many books does he have to read to have the authority?
Just one, like, but you'd have to have an understand David Gemmell in the same way. I would say, geez, I'm not a fan, but if you read fantasy and if you want to talk about fantasy, you have to have read a Tolkien.
Okay, I agree on the Tolkien. I don't agree on the Gemmell.
I would put Gemmell with Tolkien. Heroic fantasy. Maybe it didn't start with him, but he popularized heroic fantasy.
Definitely,
like literally that subgenre.
But you can read. I'm pretty sure you can read fantasy books for like 10 years.
Yeah,
and never step on Gemmell.
It's weird though.
Yeah, but
what about Raymond E. Feist?
Yeah, but that's the same thing. So I think Feist goes before Gemmell.
Wow.
Yeah, in popularity and...
Oh, popularity, maybe.
Because
but as a trendsetter.
Yeah, but they're different things. So, if you go into a bookstore and you see Gemmell, you see Feist, you see Wheel of Time, you see all kinds of things. And you go, oh, I haven't read Wheel of Time yet. I should get on that. Oh, I haven't read...
Don't.
Yeah, I know, but... what? All right, anyway.
Yeah.
And so many other books.
Yeah.
Right? And... for every new book, you have to go, oh, I like it. Oh, there's 10 more books.
Yeah,
You go through them, and it takes half a year or whatever. Like, it depends on who you are. And every time you do that trip, there might be so many authors you can get to the first 10 years, right? And Gemmell, sadly, I think it should be up there, but I think that the other authors take that spot. Way before Gemmell, but once they get one, they will go more. Right?
It's an interesting thing. I'm obviously biased.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I think it was the first fantasy book I properly read. I think I'd read Mercedes Lackey or Zimmer Bradley before I read Gemmell.
Okay.
A little bit sci-fi fantasy, but I'm pretty sure I read some of that before. But it was Legend from Gemmell that made my brain just exploded.
Okay.
That was the formation of my love affair with fantasy books.
For me,
Legend. Yeah.
That was Fritz Lieber Langma.
Yeah. Okay. Fritz Lieber. Like, I know I've read Fritz Lieber.
Yeah.
I know I have. I can't remember bloody anything.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. The Little Moose, or what is it?
Fafard and Grey Mouse.
Yeah. For 100%, I know I've read some of those.
Yeah.
It hasn't stuck.
No.
Gemmell, I've literally just gone back and started reading some.
Also, those are like 20 years older at least.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Gemmell has to be up there.
Well,
your mate Green, if he hasn't read a Gemmell,
should I write him and complain?
You should, because what are you even doing with your life?
Come on.
He's a cornerstone. If you've read Tolkien because he's a founder of the fantasy movement, if you've read Brandon Sanderson because he's probably the best fantasist right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but he probably is.
Yeah.
Whatever. George R. R. Martin because Big Explosion and whatever what he's done. You gotta have read David Gemmell.
Yeah, but okay.
It's a cornerstone, man. Like, he's literally a subgenre of fantasy.
Yeah, but there's so many books out there, so many authors, so many good series.
What I'm saying is, somebody who's doing a YouTube channel about fantasy and they're talking with authority on fantasy.
He had to.
You need to have read. No, I understand that, but you need to have read You need to have a good grounding.
Yeah, well, don't have to. He started out doing his own thing.
What are you talking about then?
Yeah, but somebody else would say, "Oh, you need to have read, I don't know, some other book." And
good argument.
Yeah,
so far.
I know.
Yeah, great.
You know, but
Yeah.
everybody that has a fan base would
Yeah.
go, "No, you need to read this book. You need
Yeah.
to read this book." So he had a argument where the people who what's the series called? Oh God, 12-book series starts with the Garden of the Moon, I think. Malazan series, Malazan.
Oh yeah, Stephen Erickson.
Yeah. There's the same thing there. Like, oh no, if you haven't read those, then you're not a fantasy expert. You know nothing of fantasy. And he had an argument and started fighting with those guys.
Do you know? I wouldn't necessarily disagree because the Malazan series from Stephen Erickson, it's huge, and again, it's one of those cornerstones of fantasy.
Almost the same amount of pages as Gemmell books, though, wouldn't you say?
No, like fucking Malazan's.
That's
they're
like
thicker books.
I know, but there's only 11 of them. How many Gemmell books are there?
33.
There you go.
But the Malazan series, I would almost say I've read some of it. I'm not a fan,
Okay.
but I've read some because it's one of those that it's like it's Tolkien-esque.
So why do you have to cater to those? Just read what you want.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
we're talking specifically about if you're doing a YouTube or something talking about fantasy.
Yeah.
You need a good grounding. It's like anything; you need to know your subject.
Definitely.
And with fantasy, for me, David Gemmell is a pillar.
For me, he is really good,
Yeah,
awesome, but he's one out of many. I almost got slapped there. I felt it.
it's fine, mate. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
I
saw he do. You did something with your knuckles. You're trying to say something.
Big fan. Like,
Yeah.
I know there are shortcomings with David Gemmell. I'm well aware his recycled stories, his recycled characters, his limited storytelling.
It becomes like a TV show
cover.
after a while.
It does, and it's super formulaic.
Yeah.
But I feel it came a bit later. Like his earlier stuff, like Legend for me. I just briefly, I only ever read Legend the first time because I thought it was a novelization of the Tom Cruise movie.
What?
You've heard of Legend?
Which one is that?
With Tom Cruise, the unicorns, the
Okay,
big,
the old one from the 80s.
Tom Curry
something.
Devil.
Yeah. There's a
fantastic.
unicorn or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally just said that, but yeah,
Okay.
thanks sir. Yeah, listening. But that's why I read Legend.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Imagine the disappointment. Where's the unicorn?
There wasn't, man. There absolutely wasn't. I was like, this is literature. This is amazing. I've read that book 20 times.
Also, that is weird too.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And there are shortcomings, but I have to read other people writing these are the shortcomings.
Okay.
And what they are,
Yeah.
so I can go, oh yeah, that is true. There are shortcomings.
What's the shortcoming?
The language isn't really nuanced or advanced.
Okay.
It's quite terse.
Mm-hmm.
And
What's terse?
Terse is like quite short. So like
Okay, yeah.
you were saying flowery before about poetry.
Okay.
There's not a lot of description. It's just this is what it is. But that's David Gemmell was a journalist, so that's the style he wrote in, which was quite boom, 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 boom. Not too much going on. Character comes in, does this. Character leaves, does that, and that's it. It's quite fast.
Yeah, it is action oriented.
Yeah.
Also, you can clearly hear English is not my native language because I've never heard the word thirst before.
Ah, okay. Terse.
Thirst.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry.
Hey,
Short.
Learning every day.
That's it.
Could I use that in a crossword?
Terse.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it
comes
used?
up. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those words that isn't commonly used, but you'll find in a crossword
Damn.
because it has e at the end.
Studying to become
Alright.
a crossword master.
Yeah. What's your favorite Gemmell book?
So I did like the Janai series, definitely. But yeah, Druss. I like anything Druss, I think. It got a bit silly.
With the Damned series, Gilgallen, and when he came back because of his bone.
Now he's spoiling. Why are you spoiling,
Listen,
bro?
we're going to spoil all the David Gemmell books because...
Why?
Well, the lad died in 2006.
Also, there's 30 books.
Yeah, and at this stage, I'll go through the series. So obviously there's the Draenei ones. That's what he's really famous for. There's the Stones of Power, or the Sipster Sea series, which I've got a funny wee anecdote about that. I'll tell you later. There's the Hawk Queen series, the shortest.
Yeah, 3 books, right?
2.
2, okay.
There's the Regante series. There's the Troy series, which we'll come back to. And then there's the Standalone, which really interesting. There's also 2 non-fantasy, but for this we're not going to talk about it.
All right.
So the Standalone, just to get them out of the way, Knights of Dark Renown and Morningstar, which actually, and I'm not sure if I'm misremembering this, but this came later in life, where David Gemmell said all his works were one. All in the same
Connected.
world, multiple universes, whatever. So Knights of Dark Renown and Morningstar are actually in the Draenei universe, but set a long time before Dross.
Okay.
It's when you get into the Damned and Skullgallon, you can go, okay, fine.
But that's
fine.
overkill, though. Like, most people just read to enjoy it.
Yeah.
World.
Not everything's connected. And then there was Dark Moon and Echoes of the Great Song. Echoes of the Great Song, I'm a big fan of, and it's a great title.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through the books. What's your favourite book? We never got into it.
Yeah, we did.
What was it? No, we didn't.
Probably anything Druss.
Oh, yeah, but that's like a lot of books.
Yeah, I know.
So what's your favourite one?
No. So I pick a character and I follow it, and it makes it more...
But what's your favourite book?
Which one is the one with the battle in the fort? There's like a rope ladder and stuff. That's the one where I think he dies.
What?
So
it's Legend.
Yeah, there you go. Legend.
In Drosdelnik. I'll also say, of every book I've ever read in fantasy, Legend is the one that deserves a movie. And I will go further.
Okay.
If David Gemmell had started writing, say, like 5 years ago, 100% one of his characters would have been made into a TV show.
Okay.
Either Waylander or John Shano, I would say. And there would be a movie coming out. He'd be a lot bigger.
Definitely, but it's always about timing. Everything in life is about timing. Well, I don't think it will be, though.
No, I think it's past. I think it's past. Until we get to the point
nobody
where
reads him anymore.
They still do a little bit, man. They still do. He still sells. They're still in print. That's, you go to a bookstore, you still see David Gemmell.
Yeah, you do.
All right? So, Anyway. Okay, we'll go through the books quickly. Anything you want to jump on, we'll jump on. First up, we'll do it by Draenei characters, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So there's the Draenei series. First up is Dross.
Yep.
Can I just say this about Dross? Everything about him screams the fact that he should be hokey. And, like, if you read...
But he feels like Conan, but smaller.
Conan, if he had principles.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, he's never been beaten in a single battle. Like, everything about him, like his code and the fact that there's no two sides to him, except for in the First Chronicles Dross Legend when he almost becomes, brutal murderer. And that's because he has the code, obviously. Do you know the code of Dross?
No.
Never violate a woman, nor harm a child. Do not lie, cheat, or steal. These things are for lesser men.
Would you call David Gemmell a YA writer?
No. No, I wouldn't. No, I would say David Gemmell is the precursor to Grimdark.
No, it's not that grim.
If he wrote now, he would write Grimdark.
Yes, that I can agree.
Grimdark didn't exist then.
Yes.
No. And that's why I'm saying he's the precursor. I'm not saying he, is the founder.
He was saying he was writing kind of simplified and short and actiony and easier.
Waylander and John Shano, like, they're the precursors to Grimdark. I feel.
Okay.
I feel. Anyway.
So somebody who wanna okay, you're such a fanboy. So anything you say about these books are...
Yeah, I feel like I'm objective.
Are you though?
No, absolutely not.
No, there you go. So
I know good
Okay,
things.
if you read a couple of fantasy books and you
Yeah.
like fantasy, or you never read fantasy, would you recommend these as the starter?
Yeah, because they're very easy to read.
Yeah, but you could say the same for Night Angel.
No, not really, because I think if you don't like fantasy,
Okay.
you are not going to like Night Angel. Like, Night Angel's quite heavy.
But it's still the same pacing, the
No,
same.
not really.
You flow through the book.
Language-wise and themes, like, the child king who gets thrown into the pit of cannibals and he ends up eating some human flesh. You don't get in David Gemmell. I think David Gemmell's a bit easier. It's a little bit more accessible.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's Hunger Games, but before Hunger Games.
No, because it's well written.
Hunger Games
And
is
it's not
actually a good
stolen.
read. That's interesting.
Although we'll get into controversies around David Gemmell. Let's get through the books.
Okay,
So,
done.
Dross Legend, Draenei, Legend. Fantastic. There are so many comments on people who had the same experience I did where this is their jumping off point. He is showing me, and how dare you, sir. On Goodreads, it has 3-star rating out of 5. I flippin' hate Goodreads. I tried to get off Goodreads because fantasticfiction.co.uk is I don't know if you've been on it. It's a great site for up and coming new books and following authors.
Okay.
And they've started doing a rival to Goodreads,
That's good.
but they're not linked to Amazon. And being linked to Amazon is
half
just
of the books that's gone.
yeah, it's just so easy.
Yeah.
God damn you, Goodreads.
Okay.
How does David Gemmell get a 3-star?
This is the reason. Is this? When
I'm getting angry right now.
when I started using Goodreads,
Yeah.
it was like 10 years after I read the books.
Right.
So I just added random books I remembered.
Is this your score?
Yes.
You son of a...
But
you just said it's your favorite...
Yeah, but that's not true though, because I just
What score does it have overall?
4.26.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's really pretty high for. So my rating here doesn't actually. It basically I added it to just. I've read this book. I just added in one night maybe 150 books.
I know what you mean, but what I did was I remembered what they were like, and I actually rated them accordingly. I didn't just.
I haven't done crosswords, so my mental acuity is not there.
3.5 years behind. Anyway, Legend. I was to kick off with the First Chronicles of Dross the Legend. And then The Legend of Deathwalker. Those are the 3 Dross, but Dross does come back, as you well know. Then there's the Waylander series. And I think today, if this was written today, this would be a TV show. Waylander. Like, Waylander's fantastic. And it is the precursor to Grimdark.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. Like, the perfect anti-hero. It's blood and guts. It's in the, So you had Waylander. Waylander 2 in the Realm of the Wolf and Hero in the Shadows. What's up?
Now that... So we're living in Corona times, right?
Yeah.
One of my first instincts
Yeah.
when Corona hit was like, okay, I need to buy food, buy toilet paper like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I made sure that if the end of the world hits, my Kindle is stacked with books.
Right, I was wondering where you're going with that. Okay, good.
And the first thing I did was add all the Gemmell books.
Cool. I thought you were going to go with that.
So I do rate them highly, though, right?
Yeah.
So you can't take that away from me.
No, the way I thought you were going with that is because we were talking about Waylander was end of the world is coming. I need to buy myself a double-headed crossbow.
Definitely.
I thought that's where
that's like rule number 1.
Anyway, Waylander.
Don't you have one?
If you were to rank characters that David Gemmell's created, Dross is number 1.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, any other author, or probably not, because whatever. But who Dross is, the paragon of whatever.
Okay. So for me, Dross is this. He
doesn't work anywhere else.
He has rules, and he's over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah. But it works.
But it works, and that's the key to it. And it makes it... He's very likable, even though he's kind of... like a weird Conan.
Yeah.
Right? But you do want good things for him, and you want to see what happens, right?
That's why I think David Gemmell is a great writer. Yeah. Ooh, did you know this about Legend? Just to throw it in. Do you know when he wrote Legend and why he wrote it?
No.
So when he was writing Legend, he was very sick.
Okay.
So like he's basically writing in a hospital.
Did he have corona?
I doubt it, mate. It was written in 1984. so he was on it, like he was really sick. He thought he might die. And he wrote Legend because in Legend it's basically the story of Dros Delnoch and the Draenei defending Dros Delnoch against the Nadir. Or the Nadir. I don't know how to say that. Nadir? Sounds better.
I always pronounce things wrong because it doesn't really matter to me. I just wanna have a name in my head. Doesn't matter what it is.
Nadir, we, Youthborn, Axe Wielders, Bloodletters, Victors still. Do you know what's crazy about that?
No.
I wrote that from my memory. I only got the last 2 lines wrong, but I had that in my memory, which is insane.
Maybe because you read it too many times.
Yeah, well, what's too many? Anyway, so he wrote that. His body was Dros Delnoch, and the Nadir were his illness.
Okay, sure.
Attacking him.
Yeah.
And that was like his immunity. That's where it all came from.
Okay.
Which is... And Legend's fantastic, man. Anyway, so Waylander, who I would say is, what, the second most known character in Gemmell's
I actually think like, it would be interesting to see like sales and stuff, but I actually think
he didn't sell much.
No, but
like
I think
the million books.
Troy series sold more.
Yeah,
because he had like a bump of sales there.
Sure.
And I think that was after the Connie Golden Empire trilogy.
Yeah.
So the historical anything.
Yeah.
Kind of.
He did like to jump on bandwagons. David Gemmell. He very much did.
Yeah, but why not? Like,
the Troy series came out, I'm pretty sure, just after Troy the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so sense. It was like, so after that we had the Damned. These aren't in chronological order. This just I'm going through them. So excuse me. So the Damned was Skilgallen the Damned, and notable because it brought back Dross, which
I hated that at the beginning.
I did as well. He did it well, but yeah, like it's akin to bringing back a dead character from a soap opera. Yeah, it grated a little bit, and I didn't think it needed it, but whatever, it was fine.
I have to say, I haven't read all of them. I probably read, I don't know, 24 or something.
Okay.
So,
what about these? So, The King Beyond the Gate, which I'm tempted to say is my second favorite.
Which one is that?
The King Beyond the Gate is about Tenaka Khan.
Yeah, it's the Jaguars and stuff, no? It's not that? Jaguar Soldier, no, it's not that.
No, that's The Damned.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tenaka Khan is like the descendant of Uruk Khan and Rek, so the two people who met in Legend.
Okay.
So Rek was the nobody who married the princess of Egil. Sweet Jesus, why can't I put this kind of learning into my real life?
That would be helpful, definitely.
Right? But basically, he's the direct descendants of the two lines of Uruk Khan and Rek.
Yeah.
So the Draenei guy and the Nadir, Tenaka Khan, and it's about him, basically.
I hate fancy names.
I don't know, Tenaka Khan, Uruk Khan, Rek, pretty good. Druss.
Yeah, easy fancy names, fine. Tenaka what? Tenaka who?
Well, Tenaka Khan. So it
just
just comes from the Mongol.
Yeah.
Then we have Quest for Lost Heroes and Winter Warriors. Both Winter Warriors I thought was okay, but Quest for Lost Heroes, nah. That's my nah. Any thoughts?
Not on individual books. I first of all, it's been a while. I haven't reread them as many times as you have.
Yeah.
And once I got a hold of my first Gemmell book, I didn't read anything else until I read everything I could find and buy.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, the bookstores couldn't get them, or like there were some gaps, and then it's kind of halted for me, right?
Okay.
So, and then once you let it go, there's a whole new fancy world with everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot of books out there.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the Stones of Power, or the Sipstracy series, and this comes in 3 distinct...
I don't think I've read those.
You really should. You really should. So
that's why I got them all on my Kindle. I'm getting them back to him.
So first up, we have the Arthurian, Ghost King, and Last Sword of Power. Basically, all of these books deal with the Sipstracy, and they introduce a couple of interesting characters, which I'll get back to in a little minute. But the Sipstracy are basically stones, which magic stones. They come in a meteor, and if you will something hard enough, it'll come.
Okay.
It's like a loaf of bread or whatever. But the problem with them is, of course, they start off golden, and they get veins of black the more you use them. Eventually, they're just black stones, and the only way to get them back is, of course, with blood. But then that turns you bad, so they become bloodstones.
Okay, sure.
And then introduce the rolling and stuff.
I like that there's a cost. At least there's a cost. I don't like power. Like it's silly in some books where you stumble over a haystack and all of a sudden you're the god.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up we have Jerusalem Man, which I'm going to skip over because I want to come back to it. Then we have the Macedon series, which I've started rereading just because I think it's fabulous. It's about Alexander the Great, but more specifically one of his generals, Parmenion. Great books. Fantastic books, especially A Line of Macedon with Parmenion. Like they're just... How
historical accurate would you say?
Not.
Yeah.
Like broad strokes. Like all of these things happened.
But it's way less than most of those authors, right?
Yeah. Well...
So, I would say Connie Golden or his like writes more accurately. It's still fiction.
Ingolden isn't fantasy. It's historical fiction. Like, it's different.
He's tapping into that same...
I don't know, man. Like, because Con Ingolden is like Simon Scarrow. Or that's a different genre. Like
I know it is.
It's not fantasy. There's no fantasy elements. It's historical fiction.
But okay, would the Gemmell books have been better if he, in the end, did I changed this, but I like this, and this is what actually happened? Because I love that about Connie Golden books. Yeah. Because he did that, and then it's like, this is where I've read this, and this is the source for that.
Sure.
And it makes it more credible, even though it's just fiction.
Yeah.
You know? And you get the tiny threads that you might remember of what actually happened.
Okay. No, these are fantasy books. It's what they are. I maybe Dark Prince. Lion of Macedon, there's less fantastical elements, so maybe it would have... But Dark Prince, maybe it would have benefited from that. But anyway... Jerusalem Man.
Yep.
So John Shano, fantastic character, a little bit like Waylander, but that's him recycling. He does this a lot. Basically, a man after the fall of the world, the seas have shifted or whatever. So now we're walking on the seabed. You really should. They're fantastic. The problem with Jerusalem Man, it's akin to a couple of things.
Okay.
So it came out 2 years after. Clint Eastwood film. Clint Eastwood cowboy movie.
Okay.
He's an old one though.
Yeah. Wait, what? It's not the one where he is old.
No.
Okay.
No, he is old in it. It's also the Preacher series.
Okay.
The gunslinger.
Yeah.
Or the Angel of Death as he becomes.
Okay.
He's based on Clint Eastwood's character in Not Departure. What's it called?
I have no idea.
Anyway, but it's based on that. That came out 2 years before these books.
Okay.
I'm going to have to look this up because it's killing me. I had it in my head and now it's gone.
I've never been a fan of cowboys.
Unforgiven.
Okay, yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, right? So it's that kind of archetypical gunman, a little bit hard and bitten. This one's very religious. David Gemmell, of course, was quite a religious man and believed in redemption. Read Jerusalem Man. It's fantastic. The problem with it is it's very similar to the Dark Tower series.
Oh, I hate those.
But this is better.
I hate cowboys. I will never read these.
It's cowboys, but it's fantastical.
Doesn't matter. It makes it worse.
No. You genuinely should try it. What's the opening line?
I couldn't get through the Dark Tower series.
I'm not a big fan of the Dark Tower, but the John Shannon ones are very, very good. They're set, 300 years after the fall of the world.
Okay.
So there's all that. There's a bit of
dystopian fantasy, dystopian anything.
Yeah.
I like generally.
Yeah.
But the cowboy, I hate
This
cowboys.
This is a bit Judge Dredd, but in the what's the thing when they're outside the cities? Is it the Wasted Earth?
Yeah, maybe, I don't remember.
Yeah, but it's a bit like that. Like there's a lot going on. Also, I will say this: the plot for the final book, I think it is, BioShock stole it.
So now you ruined the book for me.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have all 3 games. What you mean?
The last BioShock movie or game,
Yeah.
like the most critically acclaimed one, whereby like the leader works out that it was actually him
Okay.
that did it. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the plot.
Why would you
But
spoil a... Okay, you keep telling
I'm not
me.
spoiling it because the simple fact is you worked that out early on. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Like you know that's coming.
Done.
Well, especially now because I've just told you. But so you know what I mean. But fantastic.
So for me, it's like this. I put all the books on Kindle, and I would love to reread them. I probably will.
Yeah.
I won't go through all 32. There's too many repetitive things. There's too many. There's a couple of books in between where you go, it's not as good. It's still entertaining.
Yeah.
But I could be reading something else.
Okay.
You know. But I would say the first 15.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it.
Read The Jerusalem Man. It's 3 books and really, really good.
I was thinking about the... this is also a problem. I generally want to go from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to go, this one. No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Next up, we had the Hawk Queen series, and these were a little bit of an outlier.
I've read those.
Ironhand's daughter, the Hawk Eternal, like self-contained, but you can see his love affair for like Scottish clans and stuff kind of filtering in, and like it introduced Talazan, who I think was in Lion of Macedon as well, and it started to introduce the parallel universes and the doorways and things, which let him then say all of these are linked.
Yeah.
Which, you know, Rome was stone or whatever. Then we had the Regante series, Sword and Storm, Midnight Falcon, Ravenheart, Stormrider. For me, these are the 4 books that are at both times least David Gemmell and most David Gemmell. Like there are aspects where I'm like, oh, okay, fantastic, but at the same time I tend to forget about these 4 for whatever reason, but very good. Then we have the Troy series, which you talked about. Lord of the Silverbow, Shield of Thunder, Fall of Kings. Fall of Kings been interesting because, well, interesting, sad. That's when he died and was actually finished by his wife Stella Gemmell. Originally they wanted Stan Nichols, who was a big family friend, to finish it, but she said she would finish it. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's when I quit.
Yeah,
I think I had books of his that I hadn't read.
Yeah.
But when that came out, I'm like, yeah, let's go to the next series or something else.
Have you read Stella Gemmell? Because Stella Gemmell actually went off, I can't remember the book, City of something. There's 2 books, and I read the first one, I read the second, and they're very, very good. Fall of Kings for me went off a cliff. Like it just, I don't know.
But you were expecting another thing, though, right?
Not even. I just, it's. You've read Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, well, not all.
Right.
I gave up in the 90s, I guess.
God damn, I hate. I don't hate them. I do not like those books. It's why are there 15 of those books, or 12, or however many there are?
Yeah.
Why are there? When
I read up to 11, I think.
Right. Did you read when
2 or
Brandon
3
Sanderson
times.
took over?
No, because I read up to 11.
Yeah.
Then I have to wait a couple of years for next book.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no. And then when there's like 3 books out, I'm like, all right, let's do it again. Read up to 11, and it's like a, I think it's 9 to 11 is hard to go through, and then I'm like, no, fuck this.
It's those books, man.
I know.
Like it's just,
and you only care about like 2 characters, and you want to see what they do, but then it's like they don't show up in 2 books.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
There does not need to be the amount of
500
books
characters
in that book
Yeah.
that there are. There does not need to be that.
No.
That series was famously finished by Brandon Sanderson,
I'm
and those
kinda
books are better.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to do that.
Yeah,
Read the last 3 or something.
yeah.
But I don't know.
What I will say, those books have the worst payoff of any freaking series of books I've ever read.
That's fine. You just want to be finished.
That's fine, but it isn't fine. I hate a book that doesn't have stakes.
Yeah.
This book has 0 stakes.
Mm.
Anyway, so I'm saying that was a job well done. Stella Gemmell, I like her new books. It just did not end well. For his last book, that was disappointing. But maybe it's coloured by sadness. But that's it. That's all of David Gemmell's books.
Okay. How often do you read these?
I'll read some David Gemmell books every year. Like Legend, as I said,
Every year?
conservatively, I've literally
You're
just
60 years old. So you read them how many times?
I'm literally rereading the Parmenion, Alexander the Great books again. I started them yesterday again because I was thinking about it and I was like, God, I love that book.
Yeah.
But I probably won't do Dark Prince.
Okay.
Lion and Macedon, I think, stellar book. Let me just give you a little. So with David Gemmell, it's very sad. When he died, they set up a David Gemmell fantasy book award
Okay.
called the Legend Award.
Yeah.
And they did that. Sadly, it ended last year.
Why?
Last one. I don't know. A couple of one of the people died.
Okay.
There's nothing that says why it finished. It's just like it's done.
Okay.
So
Money run out?
I presume so, or maybe it's too long after his death,
Yeah.
where he's just lost too much I genuinely don't know, but
So you need to go out there and preach Gemmell to the regular fans. You need to go into sci-fi store and go, have you heard about Gemmell?
he's still selling, man. He's still
Yeah,
selling.
he is, but it's not. That's the thing. He's not as big as you think he is, or something.
I don't think he is. I know he isn't. I wouldn't even say he's as big as Raymond E. Feist.
No.
And I would say those two are comparable.
Yeah,
comparable?
but I actually. Yeah, I think Gemmell wrote more good books. Feist is
I don't think that's true, man.
better in the beginning.
I don't think. Oh, interesting. Which is a better book, Magician or Legend?
Magician. No, no, not the first 3. The Ant Queen ones. That's
Right.
so good.
The Mistress of the Empire,
Yeah.
Battle of the Empire. See, I would say objectively, Magician is a better book.
Mm-hmm.
Subjectively, Legend just has a place in my heart,
Well, so I clearly rated Legend as 3 stars.
which is just makes me want to punch you in the face.
No.
I would say Raymond E. Feist and David Gemmell for me are comparable,
Okay.
just in where they are in fantasy sense. But I
And
would say
also
Raymond E. Feist is a bit bigger.
Also the same kind of age bracket, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I don't like the YE genre because I think it's basically monetization.
The white genre?
Yeah, young adult.
Ah,
So
that's it.
there's a lot of good books, but they could be good books without that branding, right?
It took me a long time to realize that David Eddings was young adult.
Yeah, but that's bad books. But they do have a place.
I would still maintain the first series, the Bulgarian,
Yeah.
is decent.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
The second, third, the second 3 books sucks.
he's
so
still
much.
alive, isn't he?
I have no idea.
Yeah, nobody does.
I would never read anything that he writes again
No.
just because of the second 3 books.
What, the Bulgarian or the Malorian?
The Malorian.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. They were
But at the
fun.
same time, I do remember that name when you say it.
Yeah.
27 years later.
Yeah,
So
right.
I apparently made an impact.
I don't know. Anyway, David Gemmell, Raymond E.
Right.
Feist. Comparatively speaking, I'd say they're of a level.
Okay.
Raymond E. Feist sells more.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Because it's better then.
I don't think he is.
Money.
More famous.
Money makes it better.
Yeah. Plus, he didn't smoke, so he didn't die earlier than he should.
Yeah,
That's
smoking's
what
bad for you. That's what all
That's
the
it.
cool kids say.
Is there anything you want to add on David Gemmell?
No.
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 Anyway, read David Gemmell. If you're doing a YouTube and you're talking about fantasy,
Maybe he has read them. Maybe he has read them all.
well then fine. I'm not specifically talking about him. I would say
Right.
David Gemmell is a pillar of fantasy. He literally defined a genre, and he was the precursor to another genre.
I don't agree.
How not? Heroic fantasy. That was his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he was good at it.
I'm saying that's him. He started that.
Did he though?
Or he popularized it.
Conan?
No, that's different.
Is it though?
It's different.
Why?
I don't even think, because Conan's not a hero.
What?
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah, but he's this heroic figure.
No, is he? No.
He's the guy that can make the earth tremble when he comes. Definitely a hero.
I think he's an archetypical anti-hero. I don't think he's a hero.
Yeah, he
Heroic
doesn't want to
fantasy
do anything. But
started with Gemmell. Popularized by Gemmell.
what?
Yeah.
Ugh, too many.
Anyway,
subgenres.
that's why you need to read Gemmell. That's why if you want to do anything about fantasy, Gemmell needs to be in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can't speak with authority on fantasy.
What's the first? Okay, if you need to speak about authority about
Yeah.
fantasy, what's the 5 top series you need to have read?
5 top series you need to have read.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's kind of
question.
hard.
Tolkien.
Yeah.
God damn it, that annoys me. But yeah, Tolkien.
Yeah.
Because whatever.
Yeah.
I would say Draenei series.
Really.
Yeah, because that's that genre and that style of writing, and that gives you all grimdark and stuff.
Not the Black Company.
Absolutely, that came after. Like, what are you talking about?
Not the.
Literally, that was
Yeah, but you're. We're talking
homage.
about now. We're talking about now. You could
Yeah.
go.
with 30.
You
it's-
could go.
if you study
the
English
torture.
literature,
What's it called? The evil torturer guy. What's his name?
I don't know. George R. R. Martin.
Yeah. No. The most grimdark of the grimdarks.
Joe Abercrombie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could go Abercrombie.
you could, but let me finish my list. Maybe I was going to throw him in, but I wouldn't, because I would say that David Gemmell is a precursor to that. When you study English literature, you study the canon.
Gemmell is not canon.
No, for fantasy, I would argue he is.
I don't agree.
How do you not agree?
That's the thing.
He's a pillar of heroic fantasy. He's a precursor to grimdark. He's canon.
He's good, but okay.
You wouldn't put him in the canon of
If
fantasy.
I recommend to a person who's never read any fantasy at all, okay, start with this, then
That's
go
not
there.
what we're talking about, man.
Yeah, but Gemmell
That's
is so long down the list.
That's not an argument we're having. The argument you asked me was, I can't even remember, but like the pillars of fantasy, what you need to be an authority on fantasy. That is a different question to
Are
introduction
you an
to fantasy.
authority of fantasy?
Probably a little bit, yeah. Are you?
I don't know. I read enough.
Probably shouldn't be doing this podcast.
Maybe.
I would say I'm well read enough to be an authority.
How many
of
books
fantasy.
do you need to read to be well read?
I have no idea, man. I don't know, but what I'm
Like
saying
100?
is
500?
what I'm saying is if there's a canon of fantasy, David Gemmell should be in there.
Yeah. He should have the MVP jacket or whatever that is called.
I'm just saying he's
a lot of other people.
He's up there with your Tolkien's as canon. Like I'm not even sure that Brandon Sanderson would be canon. Canon, I'm saying. I'm not saying best. I'm not saying what you should read.
Okay.
And like I'm a massive Brandon Sanderson fan.
I'm not that much of a
I'm talking
Sanderson
the
fan.
canon of fantasy. Like Fritz Lieber, you were saying, is probably canon.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. That
Because
kind of
he
level
created things, yeah.
where it all came from.
Yeah.
And if you talk heroic fantasy, if you talk getting into grimdark, David Gemmell. That's canon. That's the roots.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking
Maybe.
about.
Okay.
No?
Yeah.
So there you go. So Tolkien, absolutely. You're saying Fritz Lieber. I'd say Robert Jordan, probably, for like the Conan stuff, because that's where a lot of it came from. David Gemmell's there. Raymond D. Feist, maybe. Probably Catherine Kerr
Yeah.
is interesting. Like Catherine
Weiss?
Kerr. Sorry?
Margaret Weiss?
That's more your wheelhouse. Margaret Weiss, Yeah. I've never been a massive
Hobbs?
fan.
Robert Hobb?
Yeah, but God, Robin Hobbs is amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, Robin Hobbs.
Yeah, I said wrong. Robin. Yeah.
Yeah. Who I only learnt, I would say about 5-6 years ago, is a woman.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah, she is a woman.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was a man.
Yeah, same, bizarre. I think. But it's because of the main character.
This is a good topic, though. The canon of fantasy. Which I think we'll get into a later date.
Yeah.
So that's David Gemmell.
Okay.
Read David Gemmell. That's Crosswords. Do a crossword. You get 3.5 extra years of mental aptitude. Leif, what are we doing next week? Or next time?
I don't know.
Oh, good.
But I want to finish on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I read this weird thing today.
Right.
Okay. So have you heard of Swedish bed maker Hestens?
Have I heard... Let me just say that back to you. Have I heard of Swedish bed maker Hestens?
Yeah. Have you heard of them? Do you know that they exist?
No.
Okay, so they make luxury brand beds.
Right.
All right. And apparently they made a bed that cost 4 million Swedish kroners, or about $400K.
Right.
And that's amazing to me. I find it so crazy that I can buy a bed that's more expensive than my house. I can't get it out of my head. I know it's a weird one. But
sorry, the silence on my part is just I'm waiting for you to link this to anything we've talked about.
I don't care. I just found it interesting, and I've read it today, and I've not been able to stop thinking about it.
Right.
Would you want one? Would you want to sleep in one?
No, because I'd be worried that I'd break it.
Why? You bought it.
Why is it that expensive? What's it made of?
It's hand sewn. It's like 600 hours to make, and I don't know. It's weird, but I don't care about anything about that. I'm more wondering about the price. Like, why would you? If money is no object, would you buy one?
No, I don't know. Like, not specifically. I'd have to lie in it and see if I like it first. Not just buying something because it's the most expensive.
Okay. Would you buy the most expensive car?
Again.
Would you buy a limited edition of Legend that nobody else has?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like that's different. That's something, I've got a pre-consistent...
Would you read it? Would you touch it?
No, God, no. No. Yeah. Really... Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, no. So I find it weird that money is
but that's like,
so weird. And
you can get a grilled cheese sandwich that costs 40,000 krona.
I know, but that's just silly. This is an actual thing that actually people buy. You can't even buy it. It's on a waiting list.
You can buy anything that's like, you can get a toaster that's, a normal toaster is like 20 krona. You can get a toaster that's 1 million krona. Just depends what it's made of.
But would you though?
Well, no. But
the bed, maybe.
The bed, I'd have to sleep in it. I'd have to look at it. If it was aesthetically pleasing and it fit my house, yeah. I wouldn't rule it out.
I would rather have this bed than the most expensive car in the world.
I don't know. Like, most expensive car is probably more expensive.
I don't know.
So it depends how much money I got. I don't know. Yeah. All right.
So how do we get to sleep in this bed?
What do you mean?
I want to sleep in it. Can you hook me up?
But is it just the bed frame? It's not the mattress.
Yeah, it's the mattress.
Mattress as well.
Mattress and bed and everything.
Is the mattress built into the bed?
Yeah.
Can you change the mattress?
Why?
How much is the mattress?
No. So it's like a 3, 4, 5 layered thing. It's like a princess bed.
Because a mattress, generally, you're meant to change like every 3 years, is it?
Yeah, so you have to buy another one in 3 years.
How much is the mattress?
It's probably 400, another K, like dollars.
But what does the bed add to the comfort?
That's what is interesting. So that's why I can't get it out of my head.
What does it look like?
It's kind of nice, actually.
Is it black and gold?
It's some designer who made it.
Is it black and gold?
It's blackish, yeah.
And gold?
Not gold.
It's blackish,
yeah. So it's some designer I've never heard of because I'm not rich enough to heard of him. But yeah. Sure. But the thing is, you spend so much time in your bed sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So it actually allures me to want to sleep in it.
Right.
Compared to a car that costs billions. I don't care. I drive this car and it's fine.
Yeah.
But this, I don't know why a bed speaks to me that way.
So because the bed's more expensive would make you want to sleep in it more?
No, okay. It's not it's become a mystery, right? Okay, how does that price? Is it worth it? Will I sleep amazingly in it?
How much was it?
$400,000.
$400,000 for a bed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
No, but I mean, it's not like they mass produce these.
No, because
It's like oh, look, we've got newspaper print because of this.
well, there's a queue because it takes 600 hours to make one.
What's it made of?
I don't know. Baby ducks who's extinct, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Like something
exclusively made of
Yeah.
baby ducks who are now extinct because
Like
they were all went into this bed.
eagle feathers that you're not allowed to use. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like something.
it'll be made of ebony.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's made of ebony.
Like, do you think you would have a better night's sleep in this?
It depends how rich I am. Like if I could just barely afford this bed,
You'd be so
like
stressed
I've
about the
saved
bills.
up. Yeah, right. I'd be just like I don't want to use this bed because I might break this bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, if you buy something, you should use it, right?
Yeah, but if I've just been able to, like, if my dream all my life is I want this bed, I'm going to save up for this bed.
Yeah.
Like I earn decent, but
Yeah.
like not $400,000 freaking dollar bed.
You think it's
decent?
Yep.
But so I'd be too worried about it. If I had like I could buy a moon sort of money.
Okay.
I'd get the bed,
yeah.
or I wouldn't get the bed, and
Yeah,
I'd
you have the
sleep.
bed in one of your
Yeah.
40 houses.
I think the mattress is the most interesting
Yeah, but it's-
component.
Definitely. So they make their whole thing. There's like I think it's all part of it. You get the whole bed done.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
But
and there's aftercare there.
imagine sleeping in it and then it's okay, and then going to your old bed and going, this is much better.
Yeah.
That would suck.
There's an interesting thing. What's his name? Patrick Rothfuss.
Okay.
I know you're a massive fan.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
But he has this bit where Quoth gets a new room, basically.
Okay. Yep.
And he was like, it's a very small room. Oh, no, it was when he got a bigger room.
Okay, yeah.
And he was like, the room was too big.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't feel comfortable. And he said, imagine that. But then a room is like shoes. You don't want a room that's too big. You don't want a room that's too small. You want a room that just fits.
I agree.
So I guess the bed's like that. You just want a bed that's right for you. And if
Yes.
the $400,000 bed's right for you, and that's...
How will I know?
Well, get into it. Look.
How?
I don't know.
I
Test
can't-
drive it.
No.
Yeah.
Because imagine if it is the best bed. I will never ever be able to sleep in
You
it.
wouldn't be able to go back to your
Yeah.
$100,000
Like my-
beds.
No, not even that. Like $500 bed
Yeah.
sucked, and I will never ever be able to sleep in it and be content. So it will ruin beds forever for me.
400,000 for a bed.
Yeah,
I don't even know what my bed cost.
like
I'm guessing not that much.
no, like with everything, like $500. What?
I
Maybe
don't know. Yeah.
1,000 at the most.
No, not even for my bed.
Like if you go luxury,
Mattress is more expensive.
Yeah, but
than
if you
bed.
go luxury system
Yeah,
for
yeah.
normal people, it's like 1,000 or 2,000
Yeah.
dollars.
And then the mattress costs double.
maybe, yeah.
Because the mattress is what you actually sleep on. The
Yeah.
other thing is, like, you can put the mattress on the floor.
So I think the people who made this bed, like their entry brand or whatever, is probably like
But again, it's not a
$4,000.
real thing. Like, this is for column inches.
Yeah, well, at the same time, they're selling out. So they're
Of course they
there's
are,
like a
but they've
queue.
made like two.
Yeah, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That bed is for people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say the richest people in Earth, like the Bill Gates, don't buy this bed.
No,
That's for people
He's
who
sensible.
need
He would
that
never
status
buy this
symbol.
bed.
Yeah, that's for people who need that status symbol.
Yeah.
Who want to go, do you want to come to the bedroom? I'm like, why? Well,
I would definitely come to the bedroom.
my bed costs $400,000.
Do I have to have sex with you to sleep with it?
Would you? Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, right. How good is that bed? I just need to find out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll give you my virginity.
God damn it. Oh.
No, it's not for me. But yeah, I don't know. Good.
Would you deprive yourself the opportunity to sleep in this bed?
If I had the opportunity, I would try the bed.
Hmm.
Absolutely would. But I'm not saving up for that bed.
No.
So take me a lifetime, but
I will never be rich, so that's not happening.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave, what are we doing next time?
I was thinking weird rules about workplaces.
Weird rules about workplaces.
Yep.
Okay, and
my favorite series that's better than Gemmell.
what's that? Delusions in your head? What do you got?
No. So okay, I was thinking maybe the shows that the books that got me into fantasy and got me hooked. So I'm thinking bad teenage fantasy,
Such as?
Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance. They're still good, but they're written for an audience.
Okay, we're doing Dragonlance then.
Yeah, maybe.
Dragonlance.
Have you read those?
I've done some Dragonlance.
Yeah.
I've done some Dragonlance.
There you go.
So next week or next time, Dragonlance
Yeah.
series and weird rules in workplaces.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know because they sound like terrible topics. But yeah, all right, yeah.
Says the Gemmell and Crosswords man.
Hey man, yeah, that's not exactly appealing to a wide audience there. But
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
So thanks for listening, guys. If you want to send us a message, you can go to tangentialdiatribe@gmail.com, and that's tangential TANGEN.
And you're supposed to do crosswords?
I know, right? Diatribe. It's not tangential diatribe, it's tangential diatribe.
Tangential?
No, tangential.
Tangential.
Yeah, tangential, which is a way you can spell tangential. Just in case, if you want to get in contact with us, you can go to tangentialdiatribe@gmail.com. Make sure to check out our website, tangentialdiatribe.com.
If you do have any fantasy series you want to take up, bring it up that we can talk about. Just send us an email or something.
Topics in general.
Do it.
Absolutely. I've been Ronan V, and with me as always has been
Leif. Have a nice one.
Absolutely.